here's Ossie. Good morning, everybody. We are live. Our guest will be with us momentarily. Dr. Kiltz is setting everything up. Guess what? Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Today's our Thanksgiving support session.
Every day is the day of Thanksgiving.
I love that.
Always thanks for giving and give to get in life. And ultimately giving love is all we need to do. And that's the simplicity of the story, right?
Yes.
So like we're just give love every day.
I love that. I wish I see that our guest is backstage, but it looks like some technical issues.
I give to you that you love one another. That's all it is.
Can you read that again?
Just love one another.
Yep. Just
love one another. That's all he says. He says nothing else. Judge with love. I always say judge with love. We got, I got to turn this around so you guys see the Instagram, Kiltz Mighty Tribe, YouTube, Facebook, X, what else? Kick,
X, LinkedIn,
kick and stick,
Facebook,
kick and stick. That's it. We're kicking and sticking. Yeah.
Ooh, I like this comment. Eddie says he just dropped a comment on Diary of a CEO. Oh, yeah. Yes, everybody do that. Do that.
Gotta go to Diary of a CEO with Boz. And I think, let me see if Dr. Boz sent me, I sent her a little text this morning.
We have a plan. You're getting on that show sometime.
Yeah, Dr. Boz is awesome and amazing, right? We're I got to get back to Instagram Live, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and all those things. I talked to Brother Ray this morning, Ray's in Irvine, and we were just talking about the most important judgment is love. That's all. Every day, right? Every day.
That's right.
We got. Did we see Ossie came on and then?
He popped in and then there was going to be technical issues.
Come back. These technical difficulties are part of God's life. And if you haven't read The Fifth Mountain by Paulo Coelho, you must. Another bright, amazing day. I couldn't find my KMT hat for a few days.
I'm glad you found it.
I take a nap on my couch here in Sarasota, and this morning, and it was on my couch where I took my naps.
There you go.
Take your naps every single day. We got questions, comments, KMT. What are we giving away today?
We're going to give away a Christmas hat. No, we're giving away a Kiltz Mighty Tribe hat in honor of finding your hat. Yeah. Dr. Kiltz, I wanted to tell everybody that we are making a ton of coaches. And in the next round, which will start in February, we're going to make a ton of coaches. I actually have a plan to onboard and get working with us 1,000 coaches. So
it's global. We want to invite everyone to become the coach and cheerleader of your health and wellness. Right. And again, I've learned through social media so many new and different things. I've learned different new things from everyone here, Lewis and everyone. And what I often like to do is let me see if I could do this. We're just getting started, right? Mm-hmm. Paul Clark, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Amy Brisket Boomers is here. Sandy Blythe is here. Good morning from Florida. Kiltz is in Sarasota. Michael Smith from London, Ontario. Good morning. Let's see. Brandish is a good morning. Dr. Nelson, MD, and all KMT. And from Pittsburgh, Cheryl Camp. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let's see. Sandy, Cheryl, and Paul get good morning from Amy Perrin, our Brisket Boomers. Let's see. And then we got, Kiltz is on. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Rick Perez, South Texas. See you soon from Kiltz. Dr. Nelson says, see you soon. And wait a minute.
Oh, here's Ossie.
You got it?
I made it.
I actually. Yay.
Believe it or not, my internet went down. The internet went down the second I went in. So I just went on my phone.
I don't know, Ollie, which is better, that or that?
I like that better. I like that better.
All right. Ossie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Spectacular. Beautiful day in God's paradise.
Absolutely.
Where are you in this beautiful world?
I am on Long Island, New York.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love Long Island. I used to hang out there with my cousins back in the 60s, the 70s, and I still hang out with my cousin Andrea, who's a coach and a member of KMT, who now is in Florida instead of Long Island.
Okay.
We're born in New York and we die in Florida.
A lot. I have family down there too. I have family down in Melbourne and Daytona. Yeah. And other places too. There's family all over the place. Everybody from New York goes to Florida at some point, right?
And I'm a kid from LA. I'm not even a New Yorker originally. My parents were Brooklyn. And so here I am in Florida, a little bit Irvine, Southern California, and upstate New York. Ossie, would you tell people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what got you into this mighty tribe?
Well, I had quite an adventure. I actually, since I was young, I had digestive issues. I started out as a child, used to get yelled at because I wouldn't eat my bologna sandwich. I mean, it was, like, hey, my father give me a smack upside the head. Those days. That's the way we grew up back then.
Yeah.
So, I would get sick to my stomach. So by the time I was a teenager, I was having more trouble digesting food. They didn't really do much back then. You're talking about 60s, 70s. They told me it was all in my head, told me there was nothing wrong with me. And by the time, I became 18 years old, it got more significant. Went and saw some doctors. They went and checked a lot of things. They just basically labeled it IBS. They told me to eat high fiber, eat more fiber. And it made me feel worse. I mean, they're telling me to take Metamucil, made me feel worse. And, all my friends are eating and having fun, and I'm, feeling sick. It wasn't good. And all my friends are looking at me like, hey, what's wrong with you? It's like, I don't know, So, I mean, I remember being 20 and going to dinner for my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary and, going to a real fancy restaurant, spending my half time in the bathroom, bent over with my gut hurting. So, but that's what I was living with. So I dealt with this. They did colonoscopies and everything else. The doctor finally in my 20s found I had ulcerations in my colon, told me I had ulcerative colitis. So what they told me to do, eat more fiber. Did the fiber help? No, it did not. They started giving me different types of medications. I can't even count and don't even remember because that was 45 years ago. So I just kept doing what I had to do, doing the best I could, and experimenting. Well, by the time I was in my 30s, I ended up trying vegetarian. I found what they call the Hallelujah diet through my church. I was raised a Christian, so, I had Christian roots. And the Hallelujah diet was basically an 80% raw vegetable diet. I probably felt worse on that than I felt on anything. At this point, my colon started to bleed, and I wasn't really sure. I also had like psoriasis coming and going, things like that, joint pain, tired, things like that. So time went on. I went and had more testing done. I got married, had a son. Did my best to live with what I had and tried to eat healthy. Well, bottom line is the next thing I found, which helped, was what they call SCD, which is the specific carbohydrate diet. All right. That diet is basically based on staying away from multisaccharides. So have you guys heard of that diet?
Yes. Tell us a little bit what you think of it.
Well, it had good points and bad points. The good points were it was probably half ketogenic and then half monosaccharide sugars. But what you find out about monosaccharide sugars, they are very high in fructose. So I started using honey as a sweetener. I had to eat real ripe bananas, stay away from grains, which is a bonus because grains definitely made me feel worse. I would make my own yogurt, ferment it 24 hours. So therefore it would break down all the lactose. There'd be no sugar in it. And I felt pretty good on that. So I did that for quite a while. I did that for a few years. That actually worked pretty well. But I was eating a lot of fruit and I was using a lot of honey as a sweetener. So time went on a little more. And I started getting some upper right pain. I went to the doctor. They checked me out, said, "We think you have a gallbladder issue." They did a CAT scan. The CAT scan showed I had fatty liver disease. Well, what does fructose do? It does the same thing that alcohol does to your liver. So therefore, I was like, I didn't know what to do with that. I had no medical knowledge. The doctor's like, "Don't worry about it. We'll just monitor it." They went and they did an ERCP. During the ERCP, they damaged my bile duct to where it obstructed, and I ended up with pancreatitis.
Oh, wow.
So after the pancreatitis and almost 2 weeks in the hospital and losing 30 pounds in 2 weeks, they sent me home. It took months for that to heal.
Wow.
And I really didn't know what to do. I was at a loss. The medical system failed me. So I'm just poking around. By now, it's like, in the 2000s, and, I'm in my 40s. And I finally just kept digging into YouTube. Was like getting popular back in the early days of YouTube. And I found a video from Robert Lustig, Sugar, the Bitter Truth, that he did probably, I don't know, got to be 25 years ago he did now. That video explained what fructose does to your liver and how it does the same thing that alcohol does. And I was like, wow, I'm eating this diet and I'm destroying my liver. So I said, well, I have to cut out the fruit, the honey, all those things that are causing my liver to get damaged. So that's what I did. I stopped doing that. And in doing that, I ended up in a pretty good place. I basically was still eating vegetables. And then because of my colitis flaring up and going back and forth, my doctor's like, let's do a capsule study. Let's take a look, make sure you don't have Crohn's. So I was like, okay. So they put me in to swallow a camera, the little camera pill. And I swallowed that. Went through that study, went back to visit the doctor to get my results. And he told me, gee, he goes, you have a motility problem. That pill should have left your stomach usually on average in 20 minutes. He goes, it was in your stomach for over 6 hours. So my stomach, all the heartburn and stuff I've been having for years, all the problems, a lot of it had to do with gastroparesis. That I actually had a problem that was never diagnosed. And also with my colitis, which kind of made sense too, I ended up with a lot of constipation, which most people have the opposite. And that colitis is probably caused by stuff sitting in my colon. So, but none of this was shown to me from the medical establishment, any of the doctors that I went to, which were numerous. So I basically figured out on my own that, hey, I've got to get stuff to move through my digestive system faster. I have to be careful how much and when I eat. And I started making changes. So, with the keto diet, which is what I started with, I moved through it and then slowly transitioned to carnivore, which keto I did for a few years. I actually on and off stuff through the years. And the bottom line is carnivore, I feel the best on. I eat a little bit of not grains, a little bit of vegetable now and then. I eat a little bit of fruit here or there, but usually just a little berries. And I basically stay away from everything. I don't eat any sugar. I don't eat any grains. And, hey, I had a little piece of birthday cake for my son's birthday last week.
Nice.
That's all I had. But am I going to go get another piece of cake anytime soon? Absolutely not. But that's what I do. I was diagnosed psoriatic arthritis, psoriasis. I had I had skin tags. I had nail fungus. I had floaters in my eyes. I had a tremendous amount. The list goes on and on. This stuff all went away. I had high blood pressure. This went away 3 weeks after I went totally keto. So, why are they telling us to eat all these grains? Why are they telling us that it's okay to eat these sugars? I don't get it. But this is where we are, and that's why we are here.
I was reading yesterday another article making us healthy around the world, and a plant-based diet is clearly the diet for humans, which essentially we get from what we think are the experts and those that have our best. They want us to be healthy, but ultimately, like you and I and everyone here, we've suffered from plants and poisonous plants. And that's, how young are you?
I am 64 years young. In 2 months, I will be 65.
Wow. And the people around you, well, how are your family? How are they responding to your newfound ideas?
Well, some think I'm crazy. Some are impressed that I'm able to actually stay on this, and they always say, "How can you stay on that diet?" It's like, it's not a diet; it's a lifestyle. It's a change of life. You have to understand. It changed my life. It's not a diet. A diet, I always equate with something you do for a short amount of time to get a result that usually doesn't stay. That's what a diet is these days. But bottom line is, I changed my lifestyle. I changed what I do so that I could have better health and I could feel better. And that's why I'm here now. And that's why I'm here to share the story.
Hey, Ali, have we interviewed Maggie White yet? Not yet.
Not yet.
We're gonna get Maggie on also with Ossie and things, and the ideas that we've been all sort of tripping over, although it's been around for a long time. Because I, like you, had bowel problems since a kid, and it was just more fruit, fiber, vegetables, and more bananas, and over the years it just got worse and worse and worse. And really, everyone's story is so important. Why do you want to share this story, Ossie? What's your passion to do that?
Well, I actually work with the public. I own an auto repair shop on Long Island, and I have lots of people come in. I see a lot of people that are sick. I see a lot of people that are having health problems. I drive my son crazy because he works in the shop with me. And he's like, "You got to stop telling people about this diet." I said, "I can't stop telling people about this diet." He goes, "You're interfering with customers." I'm not interfering with customers. And I've had numerous customers try it, and I've watched all types of, scenarios. I see people that have listened to me. I actually have a whole library of books. I lend the books out, tell them to bring them back when they're done. And you name it, everybody from Robert Lustig to Ben Bickman to your book, whoever's books, I just keep a library of them and I share them with people. I have that big ketogenic Bible, that was done by that whole group of doctors. Actually on my desk, I can tell you, Chris, let me grab this. This book is amazing. This book has so much information and so many references so that everybody that denies that this can work, they can find the truth in here. Every chapter has hundreds and hundreds of references to medical studies that prove this whole thing. So if anybody has a doubt, buy that book and start reading it. I actually have a customer, perfect testimonial. The guy, bodybuilder, outright, going out to shows and stuff, and winning shows years ago, gained a lot of weight, very big guy. He turned around and I shared with him. He bought the book. He told me he read it 3 times. The guy leaned out. He looks amazing. He came in. He's like, I can't believe that this made such a difference in my life.
Well, can you equate cars and bodies? I mean, if you put sugar into the gas tank of a car, what happens to it?
That engine's going to seize up.
It's gonna seize up.
That's as simple as that.
And so is sugar our fuel or is fat our fuel?
I believe fat is our fuel. I follow what you preach in that respect, because what I found is the sugar causes damage. I mean, I ended up with severe insulin resistance. I was 280 pounds. I thought I was eating healthy. I went on this keto diet and into carnivore, and in 9 months, I lost over 60 pounds. And now I'm down 75, a few years later, total. My body hit a certain weight. And the funny thing is, I go to the doctor once a year. So I went in for my physical a couple of months ago. And now, well, I should back up. 2 years ago, when I went to see the doctor, he hasn't seen me. I didn't go in for a year and a half. I went on this diet. I actually weaned myself off my medications because my colitis medication, I got to the point to where I would take it when I needed it. I knew when I had a flare coming. I basically had 3 medications. I had Dilialda, and I had Canasa, and I had some, what do they call it? I'm drawing a blank on that one. But bottom line is, I would take it as I needed it. And I was taking blood pressure medication. Also had like a water pill built into it, so it would like reduce the water in my body. Like I said earlier, 3 weeks and my blood pressure dropped so low that I felt I was going to pass out. So I basically cut the pill in half. I went another week or 2. I was like, I can't take this stuff anymore. And I was checking my blood pressure. It was extremely low. And when I went back to my doctor, he had seen after a year and a half, I had lost probably 65, 70 pounds. I walked into his office and he was just walking by. He looked at me in the office and he's like, he didn't know what to say. So I walk inside. When they call me in, he looks at me, he goes, are you okay? I go, I'm great. He goes, are you sure? I go, I've never felt better in my life. He goes, I'm relieved. He goes, when I looked out there, he goes, this ain't good. Ossie's been, he's been my patient for 25 years. And he's always been significantly overweight. And all of a sudden, this guy's lean and something's wrong. But there wasn't. He checks my blood pressure. He goes, wow, your blood pressure is really good. Maybe we can lower your blood pressure. I go, I haven't taken it in a year.
Yeah. I got a comment here from, let's see, Ferrellman 4. Oil is lubricating. You'll win the race with nitrous, but you'll be the first to need to rebuild it. But ultimately, great oil burns. Diesel lasts longer, doesn't it?
Yes, it burns slower.
It burns slower. And most delicious poisons. Plants are poisonous. That's as simple as that, right? We make a complicated science out of this. It isn't. And it is, what poisons come in ribeye steak?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. And the doctors, are they telling us to cut out the meat?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
And it is a radical concept and idea. So I always equate the Ferrari, the lion, the human, because if you put sugar in the Ferrari, it seizes up. But truly, the fuel, diesel fuel and oil, which essentially is fat, we'll call it that, right? And can you use oils to burn in cars, essentially?
Well, oils are not meant to be burned in cars. Oils are meant to be a lubricant. So if you put oil in the gas tank, it's not going to do well.
But you can use oil to burn, and that's essentially what diesel is. Oil is a burn. I mean, if you think about it, they deliver oil for our furnace, not sugar, right? And the oil burns better, and the plants soot and all sorts of other toxins. Think about it when you smoke a cigarette, right? No, it's deadly for us. We know that. It's deadly.
Plants have, yeah.
And so I think, again, my auto mechanic and my airplane mechanic are more important than my doctor. Because they do the work on the things that we drive and fly. And again, without them, we couldn't do the things that we do. And so what's the name of your auto shop?
It's Ossie's Auto Repair.
Ossie's Auto Repair
in Bohemia, New York.
And ultimately, we're for the carnivores out there, again, well, I love my auto mechanic, my airplane mechanic, and honor them and make sure they get a lot of steaks.
That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy ideas. So your doctor, you think we are beginning to scratch the surface in order to crack open the mind of the medical system and begin to feed them with this idea that keto, carnivore, faith, and fasting are actually more fantastic?
I believe that we're starting to crack the surface. I believe that they're starting to see through groups like this that there is an alternative and there is something that works better than what they've been doing all these years. So, I mean, bottom line is, when I walked in for my physical a couple of months ago, I ended up with the physician assistant, which is this young lady. She's new to the job. She's probably a vegetarian, only because she weighed about 98 pounds and was about 5'10". She was so skinny, I couldn't believe it. She gets done examining me, and as she's walking out of the room, she says, really in disgust, "You are obese." So I stopped and I said, "You're calling me obese? Do you realize I was 75 pounds heavier 3 years ago? And my body stopped at this weight? And what is your definition of obese? Why would you say I'm obese? I'm a lot healthier than I was. I'm in better shape than I was in. A lot of my problems went away." She had nothing to say and she just walked out.
I believe the medical system is exacerbating the problem, because rather than saying, "You look amazing, how you doing, Ossie, and what are you doing to do so well?" And we need a positive coach, a positive cheerleader in order to improve our system. That's why Kiltz Mighty Tribe, we're working on our coaches to be cheerleaders, coaches, and idea developers on how we can all be healthier.
I mean, the real problem from what I see, when I went and I had my gallbladder out, the surgeon that took my gallbladder out said that you have a real lot of fat around your organs. I would think my gallbladder probably came out because I had fatty gallbladder, like I had fatty liver. And I bet you I had fatty pancreas and everything. That he said my whole abdomen was loaded with fat. He goes, "You have to lift weights." That was his answer. It wasn't that was causing the problem. It was from the fructose. It was from that diet that I was on. I actually did that for years to feel better. It was the poison from the plants. Exactly.
The poison from the plants. It's as simple as that.
It's exactly what it was. I think sugar, fructose, they're all poisonous. Our bodies can handle poison. Our body is made to break poison down so we don't die. Our body feeds on what it can get out of that and uses whatever nutrition it can, because our body is amazing. And then it takes what it can't take and what it can't handle, and it filters it and processes it the best that it can. And sometimes it can't process it well. It stays in our body, or it does damage to our body. It causes inflammation and disease. And that's what's going on. And a lot of that is from plants. Yes, it is. I agree. A lot of the poisons are from plants. I think plants can be made edible. I think through some fermentation, soaking, cooking, things like that, we reduce a lot of the hazard to it. But do we get it all out? Or are we just lowering it to a level to where our body can actually process it and eliminate it better so that it doesn't affect us in a significant way? but is it affecting us a little bit? It's always a question mark.
Yeah. So obviously we moved to a plant-centric diet for evolutionary survival reasons. We became basically domesticated animals. And if you feed a lion or wolf plants, they become a dog and a cat. If you feed an ancient Viking or an ancient gladiator plants, they become a domesticated slave, soldier, peasant, and prisoner. And that's the sad part of all of this. And so the simplicity. What is the simplicity of your lifestyle today, Ossie?
It's simple. I woke up this morning now because of my long time for my digestive system to empty. The morning is my biggest meal because when my body moves, the food moves through me better. I try to eat a small meal in the evening if I have something to eat at night, only because I cannot sleep. It affects me significantly where I'm uncomfortable and I literally can't even lay down. So therefore, did I get rid of this gastroparesis type symptom that I had? No, I did not get rid of that. Did I get rid of most of my colitis and a dozen other things that were wrong? I did. So did it make me perfect by going on this diet? It didn't, but it healed a lot of my problems. And I would have never gotten to this level of healing without going on this diet or without changing my lifestyle. So where does that? Mm-hmm.
I imagine, I'm sorry. I imagine for many cars that come in, there's so much damage you have to replace the engine, the transmission, or you have to replace parts. And obviously the time to heal, it may be already damaged enough. I've already had 3 hernias repaired. Despite being a carnivore for a long time, it's some of the damage isn't healed naturally all the time.
Sure. I mean, I spent a lot of years in the shop and I have a lot of joint damage and stuff, but I can tell you the inflammation and the pain in my body is 90% less than it was before, even with that damage. So has that helped? Yes, it has. And what I ended up doing is I got to this point and I'm like, I'm kind of at a threshold. It's like I've gotten to a pretty good level of health. I still have a couple of little minor symptoms and health issues that I can manage. And I manage them pretty much without medication and without taking, I don't even like taking a pill for anything. I'm pretty much, don't even give me a Tylenol. I won't take a single thing. I don't think any of it's good for you. It's all chemical based. So I don't do that. But what I did start doing is I ended up doing some more research on environmental toxins because I was like, I never really looked into that. I'm eating pretty healthy, but let me look into this. So I started looking into environmental toxins. So, everybody knows about BPA. We got to get BPA free. Everybody is being totally misled on all of these chemicals that are in our everyday products, in packaging, in our clothing, in the rug that you walk on, the bed that you sleep in. They use all these chemicals. So if you look at BPA, you see BPA free now, right? It's everywhere. Bottom line is, what do they do? What do they replace it with? They replace it with BPS. Is BPS any better? No, it's not, but it's not BPA. And now BPS is starting to get a bad name. What's the next thing? Now they're going to use BPF. There's thousands of variants of these chemicals. And most people don't know it. They're buying that wonderful ceramic cookware. Guess what? That has a chemical they call Gen X. Okay? Not Generation X, but Gen X. I don't know why they named it that. But the bottom line is, it is basically a derivative of the PFOA, which was in the Teflon, which ironically, I started digging into. I actually put a question in on your show about that. You guys didn't have a lot of information on that, but I've been digging into that. And the bottom line is, these chemicals stay in your body. They stay in the water. They get in the fish that you eat. They get into the shellfish that you eat. I live near a body of water where we eat shellfish and fish out of this water. These fish are all contaminated. It also is in every human being. 96% of the people in the United States are contaminated with PFOA. 96%. Everybody has it in their body. So what I did is I said, you know what? Let me get tested. because you can get a test. I joined Function Health just to get blood tests, see what's going on. Because I could check for these chemicals. So I got checked for these chemicals, and I had a level. What you do is those chemicals, they do about 6 tests for different derivatives of those chemicals. You're supposed to add them up. If you have over 2, it is considered possibly could give you symptoms. Hey, one of those symptoms is ulcerative colitis. Okay. I'm at 6, or just under 6, 5.9. So now I have 3 times where symptoms start. So right away, I'm like, well, that might be why. Now I'm using ceramic cookware because I thought it was good. But guess what? That stuff is made with a Gen X chemical, which is another chemical. That's just the cousin of the PFOA. What they do is these chemical companies are playing chemical whack-a-mole. That was the best way I heard it. I heard it from a Harvard professor, Joseph Allen. They do is somebody comes out with this chemical, they sell it, they make billions of dollars on it. They find out this chemical's bad. So what they do is say, okay, we'll get rid of that chemical and we'll release the next one. And then they wait until that one gets condemned. And then when that one gets condemned, they release the next one. They have thousands of chemicals in line, and all they're doing, because in order to get the result they're looking for, whether it be preserving something in a can or a pan with nothing that sticks or a raincoat where the water just slips off, they need a certain type of chemical to do that. So what they do is they just go to the chemical cousin and they will keep doing that. What we have to do is we have to find a way to stop that. What do you think about that?
What are the chemicals like in your shop?
We use as much as we can in chemical friendly things in our shop. I used much more volatile chemicals years ago. There are probably the biggest chemical that causes the most damage that's used in mechanical industry, machining, mechanic shops is trichloroethane. Trichlor is a very toxic chemical and does a lot of damage, and that will cause neuro damage and all kinds of things. So yes, I work with those chemicals. For years, did not know about it. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
We use stuff that doesn't have that in it. It's more friendly to the environment.
Yeah, it's sort of we fly planes, drive cars, utilize energy everywhere, and we're working to maximize health and wellness and minimize the toxins in our environments. And so that's real important, as you're saying. And our cookware is really critical. Although I generally just put it under the flame and turn it twice and then eat it, or don't even cook it. A pan, I typically don't cook cook with the fire underneath. I put it, I use a ceramic, the dish, even just to put it in there. But I also use stainless steel, and iron, also.
Yeah, I have a grill that's stainless, and basically I was out in the pouring rain last night and I put steaks on the grill in the dark, in the rain, and I cook my steaks. It takes less than 10 minutes to heat up that grill and put those steaks on the grill. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's snowing. I cook most of my steaks on my grill outside, no matter what time of year it is, no matter how cold, no matter what the weather is. It could be a blizzard. I'll go outside and light my grill. Doesn't bother me one bit. And that's what I eat most of the time tonight. I eat mostly steak. I will stick, a rack of lamb in the oven on a stainless tray. I won't use anything else. And, I actually just recently added some wild caught salmon back into my diet, because when I did get that blood test done, when I found those chemicals, my omega-3s were a little low. And probably because I was eating a bit heavy on the conventional pork. And I think it's from their grain diet that those omega-6s are getting transferred to me. Hey, you are what you eat, and you are whatever they eat also. So that's important, I believe.
You know, and Brian Bridges' wife has a brain tumor. Gamma knife only caused her more pain. 130 pounds overweight, which is the fuel and healing for the body, by the way. And carnivore faith and fasting is like critical. Again, plants are poisonous, and that's our problem. But fat and fasting and faith, those are the things that I think are real. And look at Dr.Kiltz.com. Look at Dr. Boz's stuff on keto. But I think carnivore, and look at Sophia Clemens' stuff is really important. But you know, you have to have faith first and eat the fatty meat. And again, I'm sure she doesn't like the Gamma knife either, but she did it. But meat is the master meal. But fatty meat is critical, and rare to raw with salt and butter to me is radical in all this. And it really is. I mean, these ideas are so radical, Ossie, and you know, you've been sharing it, and most people don't believe it. And again, the ketogenic resource I think is really good, but it is plants are poisonous, and I believe they cause cancer. Look up goitrogenic foods. Would you show that again, Ossie?
What's that? Say again.
Go ahead and show that.
Another book that I would like to share.
Please.
Chris Nobby, Ancestral Diet Revolution.
Yep.
Amazing. He has unbelievable graphs and charts about seed oil introduction, the change of the diet, the reduction of meat in people's diets. And he shows a graph over 100 years, tons and tons of graphs that show how the vegetable oils were going up, and so was obesity, so was heart disease and diabetes. And meanwhile, people were cutting out the things that were supposed to stop those problems. And he shows how these vegetable oils that are made in a factory, and everybody's got to remember those oils were made for machinery when they were originally designed, and they decided to filter them and to get rid of the bad smell and deodorize them and with chemicals, and then actually package them and sell them for food.
I just wanted to say, Brian Bridges, he should email me. Maybe we can set up also a call with Dr. Nelson.
Yeah, Dr. Nelson's awesome. A coaching call would be great.
Yeah.
And again, it's radical information we're sharing. And I mean, Sophia Clemens is really amazing. She's done some amazing stuff. I mean, cancer, plants and microbes work in collusion to make us fertilizer. They ferment in the gut. SIBO, IBS, all these things are really, you know, the craziness, right? And I had migraines and bowel problems since I was a kid, ADHD, OCD, depression. I've seen too many people die of cancer. And really it's because a high protein diet is deadly. You want a high fat diet and fat, faith, and fasting. That's the critical way. And it's so red. A stick of butter, SBG. Look at our good friends at the Steak and Butter Gang. And it's crazy. There was a question on copper cookware.
Oh, I didn't see the copper cookware,
it's high maintenance. It supposedly gets really hot, cools quick, but it's high maintenance. You know, I do iron or stainless steel.
Okay.
Steel cookware. I love it, but mostly, again, I don't cook on top. I cook under the fire. And that's why the broiler is like the very best friend, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. So we just answered the cookware question. Okay, good. What about this? Last week, SBG said Topo Chico is bad, but I like it a lot. I have seen you drinking it. What do you think about it?
Okay, breathing air is deadly, correct? All right, if you freak out on everything in the world, you freak out, all right? Pick something and you know, what do I mostly drink? Tap water.
Water. Yeah.
Tap water.
Oh,
I love Gerald
tap water.
Steiner. Gerald Steiner, one of my favorites. I add a little bit of lemon or lime. Yes, I love Topo Chico. I usually do the plain, but look at nature and man, right? The waters of the world are contaminated. I don't know if you've got, Ossie, any comments about the waters of the world.
Oh yeah. And in doing my research on these chemicals, I wanted to find out where did I come in contact with these chemicals. So bottom line is the main source of these chemicals in groundwater are a lot of airports, because they use firefighting training for the planes. They use that fire foam. That's one of the biggest issues. The airport that's literally a stone throw from my shop, and I'm only a couple of miles south of here, used it in the house I'm in now. The other house I was in 20 years ago, that I was in for 20 years, that house is in between two creeks. It's in Brookhaven, and there is Carmen's River, and there is Beaver Dam Creek, and my house was right smack in the middle of those two, and they found chemical contamination in those waters. And when I moved into that house in 1987, I had well water, so I was drinking that water. So there's a very good chance it came from there. There also was a firefighting school just north in a town called Yaphank, which all of those waters get contaminated from that fire foam. They found that contamination, and there's an Air Force base east, which also they are blaming on the contamination. But what about the fire school that was north, that they taught that firefighting for decades and spraying that chemical around, and it was going right in the groundwater. So we had some good sources for those chemicals. And if you live in a lot of areas where there are like 3M in Virginia, if anybody had ever seen the documentary about the guy with the cows, I think it was on 60 Minutes about 10 years ago. And those chemicals, when they were making those Teflon-based chemicals, those PFASs, PFOSs, all of their groundwater was contaminated. Those cows, the guy had, all these cows getting sick, and they were wondering why. And he saw this foam coming out of the water, and there was a pipe that was leading to the stream by his property that was drain off from a landfill that was used by the chemical company. And it was all foamy. And he's like, what the heck is this? They had it analyzed. They found out what it was. And a lawyer took this on. There's a couple of good documentaries on it if anybody's interested in looking at it. If you just Google those chemicals, those documentaries come up. YouTube has a lot.
Living is deadly.
Yes, it is.
And I give only good thoughts to all things. And that, I think that's real important for all of us. And that's why a mindset. Tell us a little bit about mindset for you, Ossie. What
mindset?
What
I actually
you do?
My mantra right now is faith, food, and freedom. Okay. Now, food can be a very broad subject if not defined properly. And we know that food is something that actually brings nutrition to our bodies, that helps us to live and grow. So anything you put in your body that doesn't do that, I don't consider food, because it's not really a food if it causes damage. So I don't care what that may be. It could be from a plant. It could be alcohol, which comes from a plant. It could be anything that actually poisons you. It cannot be considered a food. Any additives they put in, whatever. So, of course, I will not eat anything with an additive. I try to eat everything as natural as possible. And faith is important to me. I was born in a Christian household. I believe that Jesus is who he said he was. And I believe that the words in that Bible are sacred and are something to live by. So I do my best to live by those words and work towards it every day to get better with it. And freedom comes from quality food that brings us nourishment, brings us peace in our body, because when your body's not fighting to digest something, when your body's not fighting to process something because your body cannot take it in and use it 100%, and it's actually poison, it's going to be a problem. And people don't realize how much damage they're doing by eating that stuff off the shelf in the grocery store, that stuff that comes in a bag, in a box, in a bottle, that's being packaged in factories. The stuff is not healthy. You know what? We have to get back to our roots. We have to get back to real food. We have to get back. And, if you want to eat some plants, I think that's fine. Be careful what you eat. I believe that the human body over thousands of years ancestrally has built up resistance to certain lectins and chemicals and anti-nutrients in the foods. I believe that's happened. And I believe a lot of that was done by processing those foods, whether it be peeling, deseeding, cooking, soaking, fermenting. Those foods are changed. It changes it so it's not the same anymore. It breaks these things down. It breaks down certain proteins in the plant that you have a problem with. It breaks down certain lectins in the plants that you can have problems with. So do I think all plants are outright bad? No, I do not. I believe there is a place for them. I believe it's honorable for a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that are vegetarian vegans. I tried it. It didn't work for me. I have a health condition where it makes me feel worse. So, of course, I don't believe that I can eat that way. So I don't. And all those that do it for honorable reasons, there are those that don't want to kill an animal because they love animals, and I respect that. I believe we are all here, and there is nothing on this earth that doesn't die or become food for something. So I think that we have to learn to accept that the animals are here to be food. We're here to eat or to be eaten. It's really what it comes down to.
And the microbes, I mean, essentially we are, because of the microbes in the plants, and all it's all just a melting pot of all molecules and organisms that ultimately created all of us. And a plant-rich diet, if it's processed properly, you eat less frequently, and you add animal fat, I think you can do it. But like myself and Ossie and Alia and others, the plants, they feed and fuel the microbes in the gut, which causes small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, but they grow in the mouth, in the esophagus. They grow up into the upper and lower respiratory systems. They go into the inner and outer ear systems. They go into the common bile duct, the pancreatic duct, and they infect the organs. And they also go up into the bladder, the vagina, and they infect every cell line of our body, essentially. I mean, if you just look at the number of infections in the world, this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Very big deal.
Yeah.
So the whole thing with the diet is changing the way you eat reduces so much of your complications, and it gives you freedom. And that's why I have freedom on the last point, because freedom is not having to worry about what I'm going to eat, how I'm going to eat. And I don't even have to worry about when I'm going to eat, because I am not hungry during the day anymore. I go all day. I eat in the morning and I go all day. I don't feel like eating a meal. I have no desire for food at all. It's quite amazing. When I used to be grazing all day long, and actually with my stomach problems, they're telling me I'm supposed to be eating a whole bunch of small meals. I'm supposed to be eating cereals and grains and things. All that stuff made me sick. That's what they told me to do. It's insanity. It's total insanity.
It makes it feel and look like it's a conspiracy to keep us sick, to sell more pharmaceuticals and then use GLP-1s to make you skinny. But you either have to stay them all your life, or you get off them, you're going to get fat again, which isn't the cause of disease. It's a survival mechanism, by the way. and there's a simplicity to the whole story. We make it complicated.
And I've had many people come in, and I've watched. I gave you one success story. I have other success stories of people that came into my shop. I've shared with them, and they've lost tons of weight. They said, you know what? And I look at them, and they'll just walk in, and I'll be like, wow, you lost a lot of weight. You look really good. You know what you do? And they'll look at me and say, I did what you told me. You shared that with me, and I used that information. And that is the most wonderful thing. It brings my heart a lot of joy that I was actually able to help these people. And I have had people that say, no, I can't do that. And I watch them, they're sick and they just don't get better. And then I have people that start, and it probably breaks my heart the most because I've had numerous people that actually started, and for a few months they'd stick with it and they'd come in and they'd show me, hey, look how good I'm doing. And then they go back again and go, yeah, I fell back in. It's like, you can start again, just try to encourage them to go back in. Just because you fell off the cliff, don't mean you can't climb back up onto the top of the hill, So, I still try to encourage and to keep that going on. And it's kind of a mission for me now. It's what I share. It's what I live. And I believe in it.
It's Ossie's repair shop. And it didn't say, again, it's a repair shop for our most loved possession, which is our body and our cars, if you think about it, right?
Absolutely.
And
it's all about maintenance. It's about maintenance. How do you maintain your body? If you don't maintain your car's going to break down. I tell people all the time, and they refuse to do the services on their car that I do. The engineer said, do this. And the engineer said, this is how you're supposed to service your car. Well, guess what? The engineer of this body said, do this. It's simple. This is what you feed me. This is what you rest properly. You de-stress your body when you need to de-stress. You sleep when you need to sleep. You eat the proper food that you were designed to. And you're not going to have all these problems. That's simple.
And so the simplicity. Oh, so if I take my car and go to the racetrack a couple times a week, would you say that car is going to last longer?
Absolutely not.
So is exercise actually more harmful than we know?
Exercise can be harmful.
It is.
Just like a lack of movement can be helpful. There is a balance.
We're meant to move and go to work. Go to work.
My grandma, when I was, of course, becoming of age to drink, she had a talk with me and said, Ossie, you can do whatever you want. You can have different things. You can enjoy different foods. You can have different drink. But whatever you do it in moderation, and you will have a good life. If you overdo anything, you will pay for it. Your body's not made to overdo any one thing. That's what she told me. And
so I say minimization, not moderation. Because there's some things you want to minimize, some things you want to eliminate, like heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and nicotine are eliminated. Okay, I have a cigar twice a year. And mostly it sits or I hold it and do this. But ultimately the alcohol, the American College of OBGYN, recommends 2 glasses of wine a day for men and 1 for women. Is that good for us?
I think it's ludicrous. It's a poison. Why are you pouring poison in your body? Is poison good at any amount? Can I have a little bit of arsenic? You know what? I'm just going to have a little bit of arsenic, Then that's okay, right? Just have a little arsenic.
And the biggest issue is we're actually fermenting a plant protein diet in the gut, which makes alcohol. Fermentation in our gut is not good for us. And when you ferment something and eat it, it's got a little alcohol in it.
I believe it.
Deadly.
Yep.
But I do love sourdough.
I wanted to mention this.
Oh,
again,
yes.
Dr. Boz was on Diary of a
Dr.
CEO. I put that interview in the chat. Please feel free to watch it and maybe mention Dr. Kiltz in the comments.
No, there's no freedom to watch it. It's a requirement. And
it's a requirement to watch it. But feel free to comment.
We're on tomorrow morning, by the way. Thanksgiving.
We are on tomorrow morning. We are on.
And where in the world about? And we know for the Americans, the Thanksgiving people, they're not even eating turkey yet. But it's a requirement for Kiltz Mighty Tribe and all of us. You got to watch Ossie, and you got to watch Dr. Boz on what's it called? CEO. Wait,
Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah, Diary. He's amazing.
Amazing.
But he eats a lot of plants.
Huh? That's why we need to get you on the show next.
Remember, what's the most important thing in life?
Love, making babies.
Nope. Making babies. Making babies. Our children's children. And that's what this mission is about. It's just about how do we help our brothers and sisters to heal, right? That's it. Oh, we got to sign. We got to do our
Oh, is it time? Oh,
the drawing, yeah.
Oh gosh.
And Ossie, where do people find you?
You know what? I actually, Ossie'sAuto.com, my repair shop, OSSIESAUTO. That's where my business is. As far as this goes and sharing this information, I've been contemplating, and a lot of people have been asking me to share further. And I've been contemplating maybe starting a YouTube channel or something. I haven't yet. And, we'll see how that goes. The business stuff kind of gets in the way sometimes of doing some extracurricular stuff. But I will continue to share this message because I really believe in it. And I will share this information as long as I have breath.
I love it. And
amazing.
We love our cars often more than our bodies, and we have to bring them up to equal status, right?
We have to bring our bodies above.
Well,
our bodies come first.
I don't know. There's a competition, and because we love them, let's treat them as the top of the line.
Absolutely.
Ossie's Auto Repair since 1995. Which is about when I started my fertility, by the way.
There you go.
And to everyone on Instagram, I appreciate you. On Kiltz Mighty Tribe, I appreciate you. And also on Facebook, YouTube, and more. Appreciate you. Am I on someone's, is there a live today, or is that a recording?
It's a recording later today with Roberto. With Roberto, he's Italian.
All right, Roberto. Okay, and then we'll be here tomorrow morning at 6
Black Friday
time. And we love you all. Thanks. And it's always Thanksgiving, and faith in God is always first. And look in the mirror because we're all God's.
Yay.
Yay.
All right, everybody. All right. See you tomorrow morning, Thanksgiving. Goodbye.
Thank you all.